Our first step is to go to photopea.com. All right, once you're in photopea.com, then we'll create a new project. You can put your name. And the width is 500, height is 700 px should be selected. And I'll change this to 300, but when I change this to 300, these get changed as well. So I'm gonna have to change my width to 500 and height to 700 again. And DPI, I'm keeping that to 300. DPI is dots per inch. And so I'll click on create. Right, so if anyone wants to follow along, you can definitely follow along as I'm doing this. All right, so once I've created this, now I'll go ahead and open up the Spider-Man image that's posted on Jupyter and also provided to you. So I'll click on open and I'll find that image of the Spider-Man. I'll open it up and I'll do edit, copy. Actually, I'll do select all and then edit, copy. And I'll paste it in, so edit, paste. And I'll resize it. One thing to always remember in Photopea, when you resize, you have to click on the equal sign to maintain the aspect ratio. And then I'll do the checkbox here to complete that. All right, so we got this. As you can see in the final version, we want to add color on the top and bottom. So you can obviously add color from the paint bucket tool, but we'll use the shapes tool to add the color. The shapes tool is right here. Click on the rectangle tool, we'll make a rectangle on the top, we'll make a rectangle on the bottom as well. But these rectangles are, we want to change this, the rectangle color. So we'll, instead of picking just any random color, we're going to use the eyedropper tool to pick out a color from Spider-Man image, and we'll use that color. So I've clicked on the eyedropper tool, and as you can see, when I click over these colors on the bottom here, the color changes, and in the swatches tool also, the color changes on here, the swatches panel. So yeah, the history and the swatches panel will go to the swatches panel and click on, so I'll select a dark blue color, and that once that is selected, I'll save that color so it says define new, and it gets defined here on the top. So I'll click on the, so now I want to color in these boxes. I want to color in these boxes with this new color that I found, and I'll right click and click on rasterize, and right click and click on rasterize to rasterize my shapes, shape 1 and 2. Once they're rasterized, then I can color it in with the paint bucket tool. So I'll go down to here. There's this rectangle, that's the gradient tool, but I want the paint bucket tool, so I'll select that. And now I can color it in on the top and bottom with that color. Right, I'm gonna undo that. So I have to click on shape number 2 on my layers panel and then color it in. So I've colored it in with a dark blue color on the top and bottom, but it's kind of blended in with the background. So I'll pick out another color that I'll just leave it like this. So it kind of blends in with the background, so it's hard to see, but we can start adding the text here. All right, the text that we want to add is, there's some sample text provided here, so let's add some text. All right, I'll add some text on the web. And I will highlight all of this and and I'll also change the color and everything and make this a little bit, well, I'll change the color and make the font bigger. All right, so I typed in some text on top. I'll add some effects, but before I add the effects, I will change the color so it's more visible. I'll change it to white and it's more visible. I can also change the font here. And the font size is bigger now. Okay, and I'm going to make this capital on the web. And here are some of the effects. So adding the effects is by using the warp text option right here on the top. I can click on warp text and select any of these effects. Right, so let me try this. Right, so I added in the effect. I'm going to click OK. The font looks too big with this effect, so I'm going to make it small and I'll move it around to the side. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to show you is adding the glowing effect. So let me type the T. Let me go to the T here on the side for adding the text. It's the text tool, and I'll type in and off the hook. I'll highlight everything and make the font size bigger. And I'll also, since I want to add the glowing effect, I'm thinking like what kind of glowing effect could work. I think yellow can work. I'll make this a little bit bold. I'll make it bold. All right, so it's bold now. And to add the glowing effect, all I have to do is go to the right side here. And in my layers panel, I'm going to click on the layer that I want to add the glowing effect on, and I can double click to open up the layer style panel here. I can also go to layers and then click on layer style and bring up this layer style window here to add the glowing effect. So on the bottom I have the glowing effect. I'll check it off and I can change the settings here as well for the glowing effect. So I'll make it normal here with blend mode, and opacity I'll make that 100%. Yeah, I'll make it like bright yellow. And I'll play around with these settings to see if there's something that works. Right, so this isn't really working that good, so I'll pick out like a white color and make the text, actually I'll make the text color black. Okay, so the text color is black, and I'll make the, actually not black, I'll make it the same as, I'll make the text color the same as this background color. Right, so the text is the same as the background color. Now I can add some glowing effect to see if, right, so the glowing effect, outer glow, and let me play around with the settings here. Okay, so this is a kind of a glowing effect that is working well. So I'm gonna click OK. And the last thing I'll show is opacity and transparency. All right, so for the opacity, I'll start typing in some text in the middle. I'll type in now. I'll change the color to white color. I'll make the size really big, maybe like 300. I know that's too big. So 200. Move it to the center. Make this normal size. Okay. Now I can add some of the blend mode options. So here on this layers panel, I have blend mode options. It says normal right now, but I can play around with it to add a special blend mode, see if there's a blend mode that works. Now I'm just playing around with these different settings to see if there's one that I like. All right, so we have the blend mode here, and I'm trying out different blend modes here, but none of these are working. So I think I'll change the color. I can change the color by going up here. I'll change it to red. All right, so I have the red color now, and let me see if I can make a blend mode that's gonna work for me with the red color. All right, so this one looks okay. The difference looks okay. I think I'll go with the difference. Now, the last thing I want to show is the opacity, which is the option right here, right next to the blend mode, and this makes the text look transparent. So I'll change the opacity and make that text transparent. Right. I don't think I'm still not satisfied with the blend mode. I'm gonna look through these to see if any of these actually work better. Right, so none of these are. I'm not actually liking any of these, but I think I'll just pick the color for now. I guess I'll go with the color and change the opacity a little bit to make it blend in. Right. Okay. So that's it. That's it for the Spider-Man meme that we're doing in class. The last thing to do is to go to File and then save as PSD. Once you save it as PSD, you can open it up. It's right here, open in folders. So once it's open in folders, then you can see that it comes out right here in your downloads folder, and you can submit this on Jupyter, or you could also go to Google Drive, put this up in Google Drive and submit it that way as well, and share the link to the Google Drive. So sometimes it doesn't work when you submit on Jupyter just as a PSD file because the file becomes too large. So you have to put it up on Google Drive and then submit the link to the Google Drive. All right, so once again, just to summarize everything that we have done, this is the Spider-Man meme that we're trying to make in class. The instructions are already provided to you, and here's what the final could look like by adding a warp text feature right here for the text, adding blend modes and opacity for this text which says now, NOW now, and then also adding the glowing effect on the bottom, which would complete the full meme, just like the way I've showed here in Photopea. So this meme is not funny or anything. It's but it's just an example of how to make the meme. So when you're ready to make your funny meme, then you'll know how to add the text, how to add the effects and everything.